Welcome to Roll-o-Matic's webinar on our draw tape line with Interleaved winder. My name is Jesper Petersen, I'm sales manager here at Roll-o-Matic, and I'll be your host today. I'm also joined by my colleague and technical director, John Bug Jensen, who will participate a bit later on as we enter the Q&A section. Just some practical announcements. You will all be muted today, so if you want to ask a question, please use the chat function. So, we will go through some of the questions at the end of the presentation. And just to let all you know, the webinar will be recorded, and we will share a link as well as collect and answer all incoming questions and share with the participants. Just a quick overview of our agenda. We will start with a short presentation of Roll-o-Matic and introduce our draw tape line. Then we'll show you a more detailed video of the draw tape line itself and show some of the specific features. And in the end, we'll go through the Q&A. First, a quick overview of the Roll-o-Matic equipment. We have a wide range of solutions for production of all kinds of bags on roll. Moreover, we have winders for industrial film, winding up to 2.2 meters. We also have our Perforation series, where you can, for instance, which can be used for instance, drop cloth and table covers. So, we also have our apron line for the production of the disposable aprons on roll. And finally, we have our packaging solutions if you want a high degree of automation. So, looking at our rollback equipment, we have three main series. The first one being the compact series, which is mainly for production of trash bags in one lane. The compact is suitable for medium capacity production and for medium and heavy gauge film. Next on is our Omega line, which is more for production of thin gauge film, for example, produce bags. The Omega is designed for dedicated production. It's very fast and can go up in 6 lanes. Lastly, we have our Delta line, which is for production of all kinds of bags. The Delta line is quite flexible. All our equipment is built on individual modules, so you can combine them in different ways. This means that you can build a line meeting your specific need today, and maybe in the future, if you have other requests, you can add a module there to produce the exact kind of bags you wish. Today we'll be focusing on the Delta draw tape line for production of draw tape bags. So, the Delta draw tape line is designed for production of draw tape bags in one lane. You're able to run with different kinds of film, including virgin, recycled, bio-based, and biodegradable. So, production speed is up to 160 meters a minute, and produce bags of up to 490 bags a minute. Looking at the configuration, it includes an unwinder, the actual draw tape module where the hem is folded and the tape is inserted, the Delta sealing module, a double V folding unit, and a winder. On the winder side, we have different options. For instance, if you want to produce perforated rolls, you can use our high-speed winder series. A good example here could be the high-speed winder 550, which can make up to 28 roll changes with tape. It's a good choice, especially if you have a low count of bags per roll. If you want to produce interleaved or overlapping bags, we have our interleaved high-speed winder that can make up to 20 roll changes per minute with tape. This is also the winder we'll be showing you in the video later on. I will just go into some of the special features on our draw tape line. The first one will be the sealing on the side of the bag. The sealing of the top of the bag, where there are several layers of film, is made by a different sealing bar than the sealing of the rest of the bag. So, the control of the temperature of both sealing is independent and very accurately. So we seal twice in the same spot in the area where the draw tape is. So, there's a small overlapping of the sealing bars in that section. So, all these features reduce the risk of holes at the critical point of the sealing, where we go from sealing of 2 layers up to multiple layers. Next feature we'll look at is our longitude sealing of the draw tape hem. It's made by hot wire on 2 sealing drums. The hot wire adjusts sealing temperature quickly and automatically during startup, and speed changes. Again, some of the features, or the system has several advantages with this feature. For instance, it makes the sealing of the draw tape hem very strong and reduces the risk of tearing the top of the bag when it's lifted. It also makes it possible to switch between different kinds of films without any mechanical adjustments. And another considerably advantage is the reduction of energy consumption. The typical savings here is about up to 70% compared to hot air sealing. Another feature of the draw tape module is the hole punch, where the cutout for the hole that gives access to the draw tape is made. The way we do it is that the hem is folded before the cut is done, which assures that the cutout always is aligned in all layers of the film. The punch is servo driven, so the cutout is always placed correctly in the middle of the bag, despite changes in the bag dimension or production speed. Then we have another interesting feature here on our draw tape, which is the possibility of doing both inside and outside the placement of the hem. This was actually done together with one of our clients who had a challenge years ago where they got requests from their customers for both inside and outside hem. To solve their problems, we came up with this system that makes it possible to place the hem inside and outside. It's quite flexible, and it only takes about 10 minutes to change from one of the other. Now we will move on to show the video that we have made of a draw tape line with interleaved winder. It's built for one of our good customers in Mexico, Poliampaques, in Monterrey. So thank you very much, Alfredo, for lending us your equipment. It takes about 7.5 minutes. And during the video, you're welcome to type in any questions you have. Welcome to Roll-o-Matic's workshop. Today we'll be showing you a line for draw tape bags, interleaved draw tape bags. And the line can run 160 meters per minute and do 490 bags a minute. The line behind us is built for one of our clients in Mexico, and today I'll be joined by Ulrich, our technicians. The line can run virgin film, they can run recycled, bio-based, and biodegradable film. Ulrich, what are some of the challenges when changing from instance, recycled to bio-based film?
Biodegradable film is always it's always a challenge to charge it. As we are running interleave, we need a lot of static onto the film so they will stick together. Since the material in recycled film is unknown, it can be pretty difficult to charge it properly.
Okay. Let's show the rest of the configuration for the line. Follow me. First we have the unwinder. We have the possibility of running with a tubular film where we cut it one side open with a cold knife. Alternatively, we can run an open-sided film as well. From the unwinder, we move on into the draw tape module. This is where we have the hem section, or the hem being placed in the actual bag. Ulrich, can you maybe describe our hem insertion?
We can do inside hem and we can do outside hem. It's a matter of rerouting the film. The folding plate is already there and the rollers are there, so it's only a matter of rerouting the film and changing on the inlays. We finalize the fold before we go into the inlay, and we make the cutout for the drawstring, which is servo driven, and it's all controlled by the bag lengths of the delta. So no adjustment is needed apart from maybe small trimmings, but the basic adjustment follows the bag length from the delta itself.
Okay. How long time would it take to change from inside to outside the ham?
10-15 minutes about rerouting the film. That's all.
Okay.
And as we can see, we have the flying splice, so we change roll on the fly, which works pretty well. So.
And then we move on to the sealing part of it. Can you maybe put a few words on that?
Yeah, our longitude seal is made by a sealing wire. The advantage by this is that as soon as we turn off the machine, the temperature goes down quite quickly, so it's safe to touch.
Okay.
Where either hot air or solid seal bars, they stay hot for a long time afterwards, but this here cools down within minutes. Okay. So, and we have the Teflon tape to avoid the layers sticking together after sealing. So.
Then we move on into our Delta sealing module. This is where the perforation and sealing is done. And Ulrik, can you explain a bit about the sealing process?
Sealing process is a solid aluminium seal bar that is following a cam. So our seal bars, depending on the seal section, is variable. You know, that means that we can do whatever seal or draw lengths you require by only pressing buttons on the HMI. No mechanical adjustment is necessary, so therefore making it very flexible machine.
And the dwell time on the seal as well?
Yeah, it depends on, of course it depends on the speed, but is it a machine that's dedicated thicker film? We have a different seal section with a longer dwell time, so we can handle 2 to 4 mil or 50 micron film.
Okay. Ulrik, what about up here where we have a lot of layers? How do we control the sealing part for that?
Yeah, our seal bars consist of 2 separate seal bars. So that means that we can run a separate temperature on a short seal bar out here where we have the draw tape and the hem fold and have a lot of layers compared to the rest of the bag where we only have 2 layers. As you can see here, I have a temperature setting for my draw tape, and I have a temperature setting for my long seal on the thin layer. So I can deviate my temperature until it is good for the bag.
Okay. Then we move further up into our double V folding, where the film is folded twice. Pretty standard module. Moving further on into our high-speed interleaved winder. And Ulrik, what's special about our interleaved winder?
I think the size, it's a very compact, small and compact machine for what it does when we see our competitors. But it's a standard setup with 3 nibs, an infeed nib, a separation nib, and an overlay nib. And then we come up to the winder itself where we have 4 winding positions, so we can achieve quite fast roll changes up here. And we can at the same time equip it like we have here. It's equipped with a labeling unit to finalize the roll, as you see here. Or we could also install maybe a robotic arm to pick out the rolls and place either the rolls in a carton or in a box or on a conveyor, whatever you require.
And you can do both perforated and interleaved?
We can do conventional bags and we can do interleaved bags, yeah.
Maybe if we take a closer look at the roll itself, you can see a interleaved roll. Very little skirt, not a lot of leftover in the skirt. Perfect cutout. And this one, Ulrik, the draw tape, we have folded draw tape here. But we can run with traverse winding as well.
The draw tape we're using today is V-folded, and that's purely to get more strength in the film that we V-fold. We have double layer. Otherwise, we would have to change rolls quite frequently. If you choose to run a single layer draw tape, it can be achieved, but then we will have to run wider reels where we where we run the draw tape from side to side on that reel. It can be done. It's a little bit more tricky, but it can be done.
Good. Yeah. Thank you very much for your assistance, Ulrik. And thank you for watching. This brings us on to our Q&A session, and I am now joined by our technical director, John Buch Jensen. Welcome, John.
Hello.
Well, and let's jump right into the questions. There have already a lot of questions come in. The first one here, what are the advantages and disadvantages of interior versus exterior hem?
Well, there's not really much difference between running with the hem inside or outside. Our system doesn't open the film completely, so we don't get any air trapped in the web. Either we are running with the hem outside or inside. But it's more customer demand if they want to have the hem outside or inside. But for the production, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
But if you have a co-extruded film with a different color on the inside, then you can bend it over and have the contrast color on the outside, which some likes the looks of.
Yep.
Yes.
Next question here, what do you mean by double sealing of the draw tape?
It is a double sealing, so we actually have two different sealing systems, sealing the hem area where we have the tape and the hem itself. And the second sealing system is actually offset, so it seals a little bit into the two layers of film. So we prevent the hole you see in some bags right between the 4 layers and the 2 layers of film.
Okay. Next question here, and how does our system handle variations in film gauge?
Well, too much variation in film gauge is of course always a challenge. But our system, where we have heated sealing bars from both sides and we have a long dwell time, copes very well with normal variations in film gauge. So it's not so sensitive for that.
Okay. We have another one here. There's actually 2 questions. We'll take the first one. What is the advantage of running a folded draw tape compared to an unfolded? Our draw tape module can run basically 3 different types of rolls. It can run pancake rolls, that is either the finished width of the draw tape or double width that would be C-folded afterwards, or it could run cross-spooled materials. The best one, in my opinion, is normally to run the double width. Because you have twice the amount of material on one roll compared to just the width of the finished tape, and you also have a very good tension in the side of the draw tape at all times, where the cross spool sometimes could have a little bit variation in tension when it actually changes direction. Okay. Yeah, and it answers the next question, whether we're able to run a cross-winded draw tape.
Yeah, we certainly are.
Yeah. So, then a question on here, whether we can run with print mart registration and how does it work?
Yes, we certainly can run in registered print. There's a photo sensing system that goes directly into the PLC and controls all the servos. So we can keep the print very accurate, positioned on the back, and at the same time keeping the perforations, the sealings, etc. in correct position.
Okay. Then a question here on how we handle support in Latin America. And we have our own in-house support team, which assists both via email, phone. We even have started doing in real time as well, where we support the clients. Moreover, we have a large team of service technicians traveling around, as well as we have just started slowly up in Mexico with a service technician there as well. So we are able to handle global support. Next question, John, will you be able to seal a 2 mil repro bag, and at which speed would that be possible?
Yes, we certainly will. 2 mil is approximately where we run maximum speed on the line, which would be the 160 meters a minute. Of course, repro could be many different types, but you could say regular, good quality repro would be able to run 160 meters a minute, yes. And that's again due to we have the heated sealing systems on both sides of the film.
Okay. Next question here, whether there is a minimum number of bags per roll?
Well, the minimum number is really one. In practical life, I don't think we would do that because it would slow down the line to a very high degree. But it could run one bag per roll. I would say in real life, it's normally 3 or 5 bags that would be the minimum count. Yes.
Yeah. Good. Next question here. What other types of bags can be made on the line?
The line is dedicated to make draw tape bags, but you still have the option of doing other types of bags, either as it is, or you could also add extra modules to the line if there's other products you want to do. This one here, you could do a regular side sealed garbage bag without draw tape, still with the foldings, and you could also do bottom sealed bags within the limits that the line can do. If you want to do, for instance, wave top, you would have to add a punching module, but there's several options.
Yeah. Then another question here. I noticed a kind of roll kickout system on the winder. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is. It is a quality check that actually would kick out rolls that are done before the machine goes in automatic, or if a roll loses a bag, then the machine would register that and actually kick out the roll. And this is mostly for automated packaging, so you don't pack any product that is not up to the standard they should be.
So an extra kind of quality control.
Yes.
Yeah. Then we have a question on delivery time of a line like this, and all depending on the exact need and so, but I would estimate that it would be somewhere between 22 and 24 weeks at the moment for a line similar to the one behind. We have another question here. Standard deviation of thickness along the roll?
Not sure exactly what is meant by that question.
No. Could it be that whether there are any, if one side where the draw tape is thicker than the end of the bag?
Maybe it could. I'm not sure if that's what is asked about, but it has a lot to do with how the folding pattern is on the roll. If you have the same thickness all the way across on the roll, I think it might actually here be film thickness variation, perhaps. How much the line can handle, and like we mentioned earlier, the line can actually handle quite a bit of variation. I would say 20% is quite common to be able to handle.
Okay. Then we have here, how do you adjust sealing width?
I'm not sure if I guess it's the bag width that would be meant here. All adjustments are done electronically from the panel. And if you want to adjust the bag width, it's done directly on the panel. Just push in the numbers. It can actually be done on the fly, and the machine will keep both sealings and perforations in the correct position.
Yeah. Then there's a question on what Teflon tapes we're using.
I guess you're thinking about for making the hem seal. It is a Teflon tape that we have manufactured to our specification. So I can't really give a specification for it. I can mention the lifetime on the Teflon tape would normally be between 2 and 4 weeks in regular production.
And next question here, can the machine use BOP labels, BOPP labels?
I don't think that would be possible on the standard system.
Oh.
No.
And then in the same, whether we can seal, I guess it's close the roll with hot melt?
Yes, that could be possible. It will be done in the position where the taping system is positioned, so that would be possible.
Yeah. And then options that could work for the labels on the bag rolls. Not exactly sure what that's meant by that either.
No, not quite sure. Yes.
Maybe Hector, if you could elaborate on what you mean there. Next question here is on the price of the line. Starting price for a similar line as behind us with an interleaved winder is starting at 515,000 euros. It could be a little bit less if you go with a different type of winder, and it could be more if you add some of the additional features that are available. But 515,000 euros as a starting price. So, now we have a technical question. Not sure if we can answer straight away, but with width of 70 centimeters, how many cycles per minute can the machine do?
Well, you can punch it in on your calculator. It would be either the number of roll changes that would do it, or it would be the line speed, or it would be the number of cycles. Number of cycles maximum would be up to 300. The number of roll changes would be 20, and the line speed would be up to 160 meters. So you have to see which one would be the limiting factor.
Yeah. Then a question here, whether biodegradable film requires biodegradable tape?
Maybe. I guess it depends a lot on what you can actually find. If you can find a biodegradable tape, the tape is paper tape anyway. If you're talking about finishing the roll, I guess you're talking about the draw tape. Yeah. And that could be a biodegradable tape as well. We have been testing that also.
Then another question here on how many rolls with labels per minute can the machine do?
It can do 20.
20, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and we have a question here. Is it possible to make stacked bags?
No, we don't make equipment for that.
And question on embossing, whether we are able to offer embossing systems?
Yes, we can offer embossing systems for the lines, yes.
Yeah. And it can be integrated?
Yeah, it would be fully integrated, yes.
What's the maximum film thickness you can run?
Well, again, it depends a little on if it is for this specific line. If we take this one here, I would think that 50 micron if you're, or 2 mil if you're running full speed, that would be the limit for full speed. If you're going higher than that, you would have to reduce the speed. And again, it depends on how high you have to go. But you can also go up to 3 mil, 75 micron if you want to. I don't think we normally see many draw tape bags being much thicker than that, because then it's becoming very difficult to pull the drawstring when you wrinkle up the film to close it.
Okay. Yeah. Then I think it's the last question here from Hector. What kind of sealing label uses the machine, whether it's water or hot melt? how we close the actual tape on the tape dispenser?
The tape being used for this system here is gummed paper, meaning that you just have to add water to the surface and then it gets sticky and would stick to the roll. So,
okay. Yeah. And then the question is, what is the best material for these labels? And you guess you just mentioned that it's gum paper.
Yes, it is. It has to be a gum paper used for this purpose.
Yeah. So.
And of course, you can buy gum paper in many different thicknesses. We normally recommend around 70 grams per square meter as the quality. But there could also be different demands for the glue depending on how quick you want it to stick, etc.
Okay. I think we can just take the last question here. What's the minimum width you can run?
For the draw tape itself, we can actually go very narrow, but I don't think much less than 200 millimeter would make sense for the draw tape bag. Yeah.
Okay. Next question we have here: how is the change from outside to inside hem done?
Actually, all the equipment is on the line to begin with. So you have folding equipment to fold both inside and outside. So you basically just redirect the film around the other folding equipment, and this way you can run either inside or outside hem.
Good. Next question is how is the support how our support is in the US. And I can take that one. We have a remote help desk where we are able to offer support both through phone as well as online troubleshooting. We have opening hours up to, which will be around 3 p.m. Eastern time, and from very early morning in the US. So we're good covered in that section as well. So, next question is, what's the minimum gap between the seal bars?
The minimum gap on our standard seal bars would be down to 14 millimeter from seal edge to seal edge.
Okay. And in the same range, is the sealing done against a silicone belt?
No, it's done against an opposite seal bar. So our sealing systems is with heat from both sides, which is also why we can actually cope with quite thick film at high speeds.
We have a question here also in terms of the winder, where it's possible to adapt a robot to remove the rolls from the winder.
Yes, that will also be possible. There we would take the rolls from the taping position, so it would not go over to the conveyor, but it would actually be taken directly on the spindles in the taping position.
Okay. Question here: what's the main advantages of this line compared to high-end competitor lines?
There's a number of features that we can mention on our line. One is the sealing principle for the hem, where we're using a hot wire that gives a very consistent seal, and it is using a very low. It has very low energy consumption. We're talking about 70% as an average lower than the hot air sealing systems. And it could be as much as up to 9-10 kilowatt that you're saving just in that area alone.
Okay.
Another feature is our sealing bars in the sealing section, where we have heated sealing bars on both sides of the film. And we actually seal twice over the hem and over the tape area. We have the sealing bars offset, so there's not a hole in the seal that we see with many competitors. We also can go up to quite a high line speed on heavy duty material because we have heated bars from both sides and sealing twice. Then we can mention our skirt is relatively narrow compared to what we see on the market. so we are wasting less material. We have on our winder side, we have a wide variety of winders that we can use. Here we have our overlap interleaved winder. We have very compact rolls. We have very little telescoping on our rolls compared to others we see on the market. And we are running very thin spindles in the winder, so we have very tight rolls. Okay. So the roll geometry is really good.
Yeah.
So I think that's some of the main features that we can mention.
Yeah.
There's many details.
Here a question whether it's possible to use elastic tape.
Yes, you can use elastic tape. We have a very good tension control on our tape systems going into the tape module, so elastic tape is not a problem.
The next one here is whether the machine is prepared for Industry 4.0.
Yes, the conditions when we're talking about Industry 4.0 could vary a little depending on who we are talking to, but generally it's about exchanging data from our machine to a factory system, and that is certainly possible.
Next one here on the sealing section, whether it's rotary or a shuttle type.
Either way, or neither way, it's actually none of those two. We do have rotary sealing systems in our program, but this one used on our Delta is actually 2 sealing bars constantly heated, meeting and following the film over a certain distance. And here in the draw tape line, it is actually 2 individual sealing systems on top of each other, so we can seal twice and have a very good sealing on the hem area.
Okay. Just think we skipped one. Lifetime of the Teflon tape for the hem seal.
The experienced lifetime from our customer would normally be between 2 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks for a set of tape belts.
Okay. The question how we adjust the back width?
Well, the back width on the draw tape is actually in the length direction, and that is all done from the panel. You can actually do it on the fly without stopping the machine.
So no mechanical?
No mechanical adjustments.
Okay, good. Oh. Here's a question, will you provide formulation of the tape, or is the tape usually purchased?
Well, many of our customers, they purchase the tape or produce it themselves. It depends on what how the setup is in their specific plant, but both is possible.
Then a question here, can this machine run conventional bottom welded garbage bag as well?
Yes, it can. It can.
Good.
Here you have a twin sealing bar installed, and if you want to run a regular bottom sealed, then you just have to install a single seal bar.
Yeah. Then we have a question, I guess it's more or less on the advantage, disadvantage against competition, as we've mentioned before, difference between us and CMD. I know you mentioned a lot of the advantages before.
Well, I think it's basically within those things that I already mentioned before. I mean, the major one is that we are running a very narrow skirt. We can run quite a high speed on heavy gauge materials. Where if you have a sealing drum, which we also have in our program, so we know sealing drums very well. We use them for very thin gauges where they are doing fine, but if we're talking about medium and heavy gauge, there's not enough sealing capacity in the drum systems, and therefore we use the Delta machine for this.
Yeah.
Then, of course, there's other things as well, but as we already mentioned, the hem seal system, where we have a very high quality sealing with the sealing wire is a good advantage.
Yeah. Next question here is, will you offer folded bags in the future, or will you only stick with bags on roll?
For the moment, we are all doing bags on rolls, and right now we are not focusing on folded bags, so it's all on rolls.
Yeah. Next one here is whether the winder can wind overlapping as well as perforated at the same line.
Yeah, it can. It's just push on the button and you can switch between overlapping and regular perfed.
And it leads into the next question, well, how long time does it take?
Well, the time it takes to push the button.
Yes. That was all from our side today. You can find a lot more information about our draw tape line and other products on our website. You're also welcome to contact me if you have any questions. My email is shown on the screen right now. As mentioned earlier, we will be sharing a link to the video as well as the questions and answers to all the participants who have registered. So leaves us all for say thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for watching. Have a good day.
Thank you. Good day.